Hi everyone, thank you for watching On Call for All Kids. Today's topic is discussing good study habits. We'll be talking about key tips and tricks to successful studying, how you should set up your child's environment, and what to do about phones and electronics during homework time. I'm joined by Dr. Jennifer Katzenstein. She's the Director of Psychology and Neuropsychology here at Johns Hopkins All-Children's Hospital. And this is a wonderful topic as we are in the midst of the school season and maybe even testing coming up too.
There are a number of standardized tests coming up, and I think it's important for our kids to be learning study skills before it's crunch time for things like final exams.
And of course, great for those parents to help instill those habits. So how do we know what kind of works for our child and maybe what's not such a good setup for their studying habits?
One of the things we want to focus on is it's somewhat trial and error. Not all schools require a specific class on study skills or organization skills, so it really is about providing our children the basics and the environment in order to facilitate success, and then doing some trial and error surrounding studying. Maybe flashcards work, maybe it's copying their notes over again onto a different piece of paper. Maybe they want a study buddy to ask questions to, and maybe they don't. Maybe they do better on their own. So providing different options for studying and then seeing where they feel the most success is really key to determining which study skills are best.
Do you have some key tips and tricks for studying?
Yeah. So a couple key tips and tricks. One is figure out what we want to do with the environment. So some kids really do better with some noise in the background or with their headphones on. It doesn't have to be perfectly silent. So getting the sound to the place where it needs to be, maybe some background music, or even sometimes some noise in the background like the TV can be helpful. Maybe for your child and for a lot of kids, it helps to take breaks. So setting a timer and really working in 20-minute chunks. And one of the big keys is setting up our time management for success. So that means starting on Monday or maybe even Sunday, we look at the week ahead as a family, we figure out what maybe we have in terms of big exams coming up or big projects, and we break those down over the course of the week and set aside 20 minutes each day, perhaps, to dedicate towards studying or preparing for that big exam.
Do you have any tips for if, their siblings, different age groups? Because sometimes it's hard for me to balance, okay, let's do yours, let's come over here and do yours, without there being a lot of distractions.
Exactly. It can be really difficult when there are multiple kids at home and when we really need lots of studying, and maybe we have younger kids too who are looking to do other things or play with some loud toys or want to have the TV on. So the more that we can remove the distractions, the better. So maybe that means setting up a specific space in your child's room for studying, separating if we need to, and then finding potentially some quiet reinforcers for those kids who may not have as much homework or studying to do. So that means headphones on and maybe listening to music or listening and doing some screen time during that time, or potentially the reward is reading a book during that time for pleasure instead of doing it something that makes noise.
What about your thoughts on electronic devices during study time? What do we do about that?
So especially for our teenagers, it's really hard to tear those phones out of their hand, tear the tablet out of their hand. So I like to use it as a reinforcer, especially when we're breaking things into smaller chunks to maintain our attention span for longer. Set that timer at the end of 20 minutes, 25 minutes of studying or doing homework. We can take 5 minutes break on our phone, catch up on any text messages or who knows, Snapchats that we may have missed, and then go back to studying for the next 20 to 25 minutes and then bring the phone back into the picture. If they really are only listening to music on it and not getting distracted by potential notifications of texts coming through or any other notifications, then I think it's okay for it to be there as long as it isn't causing distraction. If it's causing distraction, remove it for a certain amount of time and use it as a reinforcer.
Okay. Any other words of encouragement for good study habits for parents watching?
One big one as parents is when we use our specific praise, and I know I talk about this all the time, praising with exactly what the child did, let's talk about how hard they worked or how hard they studied. When we're using an adjective to describe our kids, like, I'm so proud of you, you're so smart, they start to tie that to our identity rather than, I'm so proud of you, you worked so hard on that. We want to reinforce the hard work, not necessarily the quality.
Really positive. Really making homework time more of a, hey, you could get a reward for this, and then just that encouraging behavior and uplifting them.
And the goal is really for them to find what works best for them and feel the reward of their own intrinsic hard work being put towards studying and homework.
Very good. Thank you, Dr. Katzenstein.
Thanks so much.
So glad to have you here. If you have a topic you would like us to look into and talk to one of our experts about, you can comment below right here on this video. And don't forget to check out our website. It's hopkinsallchildrens.org. JohnsHopkinsAllChildren'sHospital.org/newsroom. A lot of different pediatric healthcare stories and information there for you to check out as well. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.